Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it. It's AFR Saints, your home for daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Please subscribe, smash the like button, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And our content this football season is presented by BetUS. Score a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Enjoy the video. Who dat? Appreciate the time as always. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Awesome. Sound great, man. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Hey, look, we're all doing great here after the Tigers win. Wish the Saints were doing better. But let's start there with Spencer Rattler. Made his debut on Sunday. I'm curious what you thought.
I thought he hung in there and played at times like a guy who gets it and times like a rookie. I don't think his team helped him much. I don't. They didn't give him much chance. It wouldn't have mattered if Derek Carr was in there. They got no shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you give up 300 plus yards passing. Guy throws for 4 touchdowns. You still allow him to overcome 3 turnovers. They jumped right back into it in the second quarter, meaning the Saints, and then you let him rush for 275 yards. You're not beating anybody.
Yeah.
Saints won. It wouldn't have mattered if Brady was. It wouldn't matter if your defense, and shockingly, and you know, Matt, how I feel about their defense. They couldn't tackle you and me, and maybe they couldn't tackle me, you, or my guy Josh Ennis. Hopefully, Josh is listening. My guy, none of us 3 together. Maybe even Eddie Martini. Eddie may catch a few balls in the slot. So inside jokes. I know people don't get it. Those are all people we know. But the point is, I was actually pleased with some of the decisions he made. He made some, he did some things that he's going to have to grow with, and he's going to get a chance to because it comes at you quick. The next game. But he looked in between the guy that was a extremely talented first round type pick to the guy who looked like he was drafted in the middle of a draft and to a rookie. Yeah. But Spencer Rattler's a talented guy. He is, and he used his feet a couple times to escape, but you're trying to overcome it and got him back into it. And then the defense, we don't say this often in New Orleans, the defense let him down. And I thought he hung in there pretty good, taking some hits and doing his thing. What'll happen, Matty, is his decisions, even though you think in college at a Power 5 school like Oklahoma and South Carolina that, oh, man, it's okay. It can't be that much faster. It is. And so the decisions of coming out and where to throw it in pre-snap recognition that you can't expect a first-start rookie to understand where he's throwing. I guarantee you came out of that game, you woke up the next morning, watched the tape, said, I really don't know where I'm going with this ball. And I don't mean that negative. That's just the way it works. So I'm anxious to see start number 2 and how he adjusts. I really am. And he played against the Tampa team that's veteran. We told you that they were going to, we talked about it. Their defense has not been a strength this year, although they've got some players that you'd think they'd be better. I thought Tampa's defense would do some good things against the rookie. I didn't expect Baker Mayfield's offense to have it that easy. Cool. And so now you're playing catch up, man, from the beginning of the game. You're playing catch up. You get back into it in the second quarter, and then the pull away and stuff. But turnovers. But I thought he made proud, and he's worthy of another start. And I think that Spencer Rattler's got some potential. It's just the physical stuff doesn't concern me. It's just going to be it doesn't concern me the mental stuff. But early on, it's going to be growing pains, and they're just going to have to continue to put him in situations to be successful. But when you're in a chase mode, you're giving up that many points. It wouldn't matter who the quarterback was against Tampa. You weren't going to win.
We'll get right back to the video. I want to take a quick minute, remind you about our friends over at BetUS. Great partners this football season. Remember, right now, you get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. If you want to bet on the Hoodats, not sure you might right now, but Thursday Night Football might make it more interesting. Get to BetUS. I'll show you how easy it is. All you got to do, go to the football tab. You can go to NFL Week 7. Saints, of course, and Broncos play on Thursday Night Football, so there's the game right there. Let's say you're like me and you think Denver's going to win. 1 point feels like a cheap line. Yep, we'll go and add it to the bet slip. We'll come over here. How much do we want to risk? Let's say $25. Place your bet. It'll ask you to confirm. Tap, and there is your confirmation right there, locked in. It's just that easy, a matter of a few taps. And, of course, that great special right now. 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to $2,000. If you sports bet, why would you sports bet anywhere else than BetUS? Now, back to the video. Now, the challenge, though, for the second start is an even shorter week. So what are the real obstacles for Spencer Rattler playing on Sunday and having to turn right back around and get ready to play on Thursday?
Man, people look at that as a negative sometimes. I'm not sure it is.
Okay.
Because in this week, I mean, at times it can be. Like if you're a team that's got veteran quarterback and the quick turnaround and injuries and beat up. But for a young quarterback, one is you don't let it fester and start to sit there because, listen, if you're anything like I am, OCD, that you sit there and go over the things you didn't do right. And most quarterbacks I know do that. They don't live on the stuff. Hey, cheer for themselves. They're going over, how did I miss that read? Why did I miss the hot? I should have hung in the pocket a little longer, which we'll get to the college part of this. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to talk about Nussmeier.
Okay.
I just can't. But with the Rattler, so in a short week, what happens, Matty, is that you're not tempted as a coordinator and as a staff to overload a guy with too much stuff because you're like, well, we could have done this, and start overturning all kinds of stuff. You don't need to. Instead of now focus on what you did well, take that against the coverages and fronts you're going to see this week. And let's instead of operating 50 things that we did kind of okay, let's operate 15 things that we did pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. And so it almost becomes a preseason game for the quarterback. Understand what I'm saying about this. You don't prepare for defenses in a preseason, right? You're working on your offense during a preseason game, just what you do. You're not watching tape on the other opponent in preseason. They'll tell you, hey, they play cover 2, cover 3, 2-man cover. They play quarters, and they'll blitz you with a 4-a-week once in a while. And here's the fronts they play. They'll tell you that, but you're not studying them now. With the regular season, you're studying, okay, their tendencies. What do they like to do? But you can now, even though it's a short week, you don't let what last week fester. You don't have to. You get to back at it quickly. The practices are condensed because you're putting a lot of stuff in quickly. And now he gets to go back and just respond and react. So watch that tape, blow it out, look at the things you can do and take it with you. So I think at times a short week for a young quarterback is not a bad thing because now, listen, go over what they do well. Don't borrow trouble and start creating stuff. Here's the majority of the coverages. Here's what they do. I know I'm a rookie. I know they're going to give me some stuff that I haven't seen. Now just be a football player. At times it happens to all of us. Now just make me a play or don't make me a play that's negative. Throw the ball out of bounds, we'll tee it up again. Just don't. I wouldn't tell them just don't lose it for me. But in my mind as a quarterback, I'm thinking, and when the plays are there, let it rip. But just don't put my team on a short field bind for the other offense. So I'm not so sure a long week is necessary to give the guy another week because, listen, he's overwhelmed. He's going to be overwhelmed for a month. He's going to be overwhelmed for 6 weeks or the rest of the year, depending on Carr's health. He just is. So what you do is show us what he's not overwhelmed with, and then, according to the coverage, put in 2 or 3 formations for one play. Okay, we're backed up. Here's what we like to do. We love Spencer loves this play. All right, now let's dress it up a little bit. Little window. We'll run this one out of trips and we'll motion. When we're at midfield on 3rd and 6 or less, bam, here's the formation. When we're inside the red zone, same play, dress it up to make it look different to the defense, but he's comfortable. So, and listen, and if you're not working on it in practice, don't run it. Run what he does and get Kamara going. They need to get the running game going to help him out and not be in a chase mode. So I actually don't think a short week's that big a deal because I know as a young quarterback, you start to look and you're watching, you're thinking, oh, damn, they can do this. And you'll let one play or one defense you saw on tape affect, oh, my God, you're thinking, no. 2's cover 2 you saw in college, 3's cover 3, 2-man, zone blitz, all the things, depending on what you're going to see, and recognize that you are going to have conflict. They're going to try to do something different. But go back to basics. Play the numbers game. Count numbers in the run game, run away from them. And in the passing game, allow you to go through your reads without panic. It'll slow down for them in week 2, I assure you. Now, I don't know what the result's going to be, but a short week's not a bad thing for a young quarterback. I believe that.
Sean Salisbury is our guest. It's easy, Sean, to look at the narrow focus of Rattler and the growth. When you pull back to the 10,000-foot view, you realize this is a 2-4 football team, and a lot of the calls this week have started, especially after you give up 51. About do you move on from Dennis Allen? Is now the time? Can you even dig yourself out of this hole, which seems unlikely? Do you think there is a time mid-season to make a change like that?
I usually hate interim coaches, not hate them.
Sure.
Because here's what normally ends up happening. We'll get an Antonio Pierce. You'll get a guy who posts his score and the players rally around him, and there's a groundswell because you played pretty well and there's a different energy that then he keeps the job. But it is rare. Interim coaches usually get fired, and then the whole staff goes with them. But every now and again, it'll happen. We see it, and we'll see what happens with the Jets. But if they play 500 football the rest of the year, they're going to find a new coach. The Jets are, regardless of what Aaron Rodgers wants. Yeah. They'll find a new head coach. So then you're going to say 3 coaches in 12 weeks. All right. When I do think it's okay is I thought that the leadership, I'm not sure the locker room was all bought in, even though you like Robert Saleh. It didn't feel to me like it was all bought in. So, okay, let's give another guy a go. If the team's not bought in, maybe they'll be bought into the interim guy because there's a different energy. I'm okay with that. I am. But to me, it's like, at least if you did it in the Jets, they did it early. You had 12 games. They lost last night. They're down to 11. Yeah. But now he gets a legitimate full season. What, an interim coach the last 2 weeks of the season? He's not going to make enough impact. He's getting fired. Oh, then I got to go get another one. And the other guy's got to go look for a job. So we had this conversation last year. Every year it comes up, and when they're struggling, Dennis Allen's got to go. That's the way it is. And you know how I feel about it. I think he's a great defensive coach. Yeah. I think something's missing when it comes to the head coaching part of it. I just do. I would have done it in the offseason, and I like Dennis. But hell, if I could, then I'd have hired him if I was a coach somewhere else to coordinate my defense. Most times, good. I would. But that's just like I'd ask if I'd have Saleh, if I'm D'Amico Ryans or so, I'd have Saleh come in and be a consultant and just stick on what you do, man, right now. You'll get another chance, hopefully, to be a head coach. I want that guy's brains that like Saban used to ball hog all those ex-coaches. Ball hog them. Go get them. But with Dennis Allen, man, I listen, I don't usually subscribe to interim coaches. I'm not in that, in New Orleans or in Baton Rouge and feel the pulse. And then the fans are saying I get an idea of it just from watching the performance. But remember, at the end of 2 games, though, Matty, Dennis Allen, boy, what a way to keep him. Man, we're headed. We're hanging up 90 points or something in 2 games. But the sustaining of the same things happen. And if you keep repeating the same errors, then I do have to make a change. So to me, and they're, with injuries, they're not as talented as they've been. And so I think you visit it, but I would evaluate him hard every week. If it continues to go south, at least give the interim guy 8-9 games to do it, 7-8-9 games. Don't call him in December 15th, because no matter how good he coaches, he's getting fired. So I think it's something you have to evaluate. I don't usually like it, but you know better than I do being there and the pulse of what's happening on the practice field. You know when a guy's lost the locker room and lost the team. And if he does, it will show in the energy. I always say energy because, we could sit there and say body language. I'm talking about energy. You know when something's different. If the energy doesn't change and they continue to flounder, then you get after it and you're evaluating. See, I'm evaluating players harder now than I would if we were 6-1 or 5-1. Why? Because I want to see who quits on me and who's going to quit on Dennis Allen. If they're quitting on Dennis Allen, that means they may quit on themselves. Yeah. So you evaluate the player, go to the trade deadline and do your thing, but also evaluate Dennis Allen. I think you have to look at it. I'm not ready to do it just yet during the season. If it goes like this, I would have done it last offseason. But that being said, I hate seeing guys get fired, but there's time when it's needed. And Dennis Allen's going to have to dig down deep and find a way to get the energy back. If not, in 3 weeks, they're playing like this, Carr or no Carr. Carr played in a few of those that they lost. So you probably have to make a change. The question is, Clint Kubiak, is Clint the guy that you trust, the young guy to go in there and gather the locker room? Who you're going to hire as the interim coach. But then again, he's going to have to do a lot of special things before he's out of the job too. Interim coaches usually aren't kept.
Yeah. We'll talk about energy, allowing 277 rush yards. That's a bad look, man.
And Matty, real quick before you go to break, I can handle a guy throwing for 500 on me. Like sometimes a guy gets hot, right? And you're not, if he's having one of those days and you got brilliant receivers that are running precise routes and finishing. Let me tell you the worst thing about it. A boxer getting knocked out on one swing when he's backing away from the left from a guy, and then he uncoils and hits the right and knocks him out. That guy always wants a rematch. You got lucky with that shot to the face. It's the body blows. It's the constant shot to your ego and stealing your soul. And when somebody rushes on damn near 300 yards on you, that ain't a lucky knockout. That's we're beating your brains, and I have to hit you in the face. I'm just going to pound away, and then you're deflated. That's a deflating way to get your ass kicked. If you want to get your ass kicked, hit me with some big plays and a guy makes a diving catch. But you hit me in the gut that many times and I start to throw up, Those are the ones that are hard to come back from, not in just 1 week, but the rest of the season, because there's something missing, and they got physically manhandled at the line of scrimmage.
Thanks so much for watching the video. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, hit the bell so you're notified when we post a new video, and remember to support BetUS, where right now you can get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Be sure to use that promo code YouTube150.